Hello. Hi, everyone. So I will be completely honest, it's my first time doing this. Hi, my name is Miss Sarah. I am a librarian at the Mount Airy Library of the Carroll County Public Libraries at the Mount Airy branch. Today we are signed on because I am a Ravenclaw, and we are going to be tying some cool shoelaces to show our Ravenclaw pride. Let me show you a finished version. You guys can see that. It's a big R. So I originally got this idea from the Wizarding World, has this new Harry Potter at Home section on there with all kinds of videos and games and tutorials. And I happened to see that they had some shoelace tying. However, I needed to make it a little easier for myself because it was getting a little tricky. So I kind of jazzed it up, took my own spin on it, and I figured we would have some fun today tying our shoes in some cool Ravenclaw laces. I'm sorry to all the other houses. I am a Ravenclaw at heart, so I've got to represent for the Ravenclaws. So what I wish I could do is I wish I was awesome enough that I bought this wand, and I wish I could just figure out some sort of poof to make them tie. But unfortunately, I am a muggle, so I've got to tie the shoes myself. So again, here's what our finished product's going to look like. It's a big R. I hope you guys can see that. And we are going to go through some steps to make ourselves get some cool our Ravenclaw shoelaces. Supplies. So first things we need are, of course, a shoe and shoelaces. And finally, because, our shoes, most of the time, unless they're brand new, have been all over the place, walking on the street, walking in the grass, whatever. I also got a cardboard box because, of course, we're all getting a lot of things shipped to us right now. I'm going to use that box as my support and my prop to put my shoes on while I'm doing the lacing, so that I'm not getting dirt all over myself and my clothes. And kids, I'm sure any parents will super appreciate that. And B, it's actually a little easier to work if you've got something stable to work on. So that's what we're going to do with that. I made a little guide for you guys. I don't know if you can see that, but I gave different numbers to the holes. And what I figured was, if you don't have your shoes on you right now with your laces, that's okay. If you make a sample like I did, and I'll give you the number codes to follow, then you'll be able to do it from home. So if you can't follow along right now, that's cool. You can write down basically the recipe and mix it up and do it yourself when you have time. So basically, I drew this lovely sample of a shoe. Right down here is the toe of my shoe. And then the shoe that I have actually has 5 holes on each side. So I've numbered, for the purposes of today, I've got 1 through 5 on the left-hand side and 6 through 10 on the right-hand side. And I'll show you guys how we go through how I do this. But this way I can also give you the numbers if you want to write them down. Okay, so let's get started. So the first thing we are going to do is we'll take our shoelaces and we want to put them under the shoe and have them come up through the 5 and the 10 hole. Basically the way you start most shoelace tying. So let me show you that. So, got my shoe. And then I'm just going to feed it. I'll show you guys in a second. So I've fed the lace through the top holes here. So it's coming through like that. You want to try to even out your laces. You don't want to have one side super long and the other side super short. So we've got it fed through here. And now we're going to start our R pattern. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to come up through this hole through 5, so the closest hole to the toe on the left-hand side if you're facing your shoe, and then we'll go down in number 1. So up in 5 and down in 1. I can only see myself in this really little bitty thing in the corner, guys, so I'm trying to make sure that I'm showing you guys the right angle. So coming up in 5, down in 1, and then I just pull it straight. So that's going to be the left side of our uppercase R. Okay? The next thing we are going to do is we're going to make, let me find this one. We're going to make this little part of our R, the crossover part. So we're going to come up at hole number 10 and cross over to hole number 3. So up at 10 and down at 3. Okay, so up at 10, then down at hole 3. So about halfway through on the other side. Let's see, pull that through here. And honestly, that first lace that I tied, I want to super get that out of the way. It's going to be in my way right now. So up at 10 and down in 3. So we've got part of our R going on here. So we've got a good start. The next thing we need to do is do this cross part on the R. So keeping the same lace that I just used, I'm going to come up in hole number 8. And I'll show you guys on the thing, on the guide. Come up at 8, and then go down in hole 3, which is where we just were. This kind of makes it so we've got that little cross piece, right? So again, what I did was I came up at 8 and crossed over to 3. So up at 8 and crossed over to 3. Okay. So we've got our R is getting started here. It's pretty good. We are going to look super rad and awesome. Okay. So with that same lace, this one lace does so much. It's amazing. So this is that same lace. We are going to come up through hole 8. Okay? And really, the reason we're doing this is so, if you notice on my shoe that I finished, I tried not to have too much, extra stuff happening behind the R. So basically, this next step we're going to do is we're going to basically be crossing, let me find it, back over this other way, but we're doing it so we're kind of hiding that stitch so that nobody sees that we did all this kind of crossing back and forth. So from the stitch that we just took here, we're going to come up at 8 and go down at 6, which is this very top one. Okay, so that's the top. Woo, that's the top of our R. Okay. And again, what I did was took the piece that was over here. I came up through hole 8 and down in hole 6. So we are all done with that right shoelace. And if you notice, that shoelace that started on the right, it's back on the right. That's a good sign. That means we tied it correctly. We rock. Okay? So that's that one. So then this left shoelace that hasn't done much the whole time, it's just sort of hanging out, right? We're going to use that shoelace to draw the top of our R so that we have a whole R going on. So we're going to come up at hole 6 here and go down into hole 1. And I'll show you guys on this. we're going to come up in hole 6 and go down in hole 1. Okay? So with this left shoelace, and all this one did again was make this big one on the left, we are going to go, oh, sorry, didn't mean to miss that. We are going to go up, oops, excuse me, shoelace. Sometimes you have to move the shoelaces to the side because they don't always want to cooperate. I'm going to come up in 6, and then I'm going to cross it over. And I'm going to go down in 1. Okay? And there I've got my, oops, can you guys see that? Ooh, let me turn it this way. There I've got my R. That looks pretty awesome, right? If you're a Ravenclaw, it's super awesome. We are using our wit and our wisdom, yeah, as Ravenclaws to get this done. Super cool. So that's our R. Now, for some reason, these shoelaces I use as an example are like crazy long. I didn't mean to get shoelaces that were so long. So what should I do? Well, basically, we got to get rid of this stuff, right? We don't want to have like this super awesome R on our shoelace and then all this extra junk on the bottom, right? But we don't want to mess up our shoelaces either. That's the other trick. So what we're going to do is kind of hide them, okay? If you can see into my shoe, good thing you can't smell it. If you can see into my shoe, there's the tongue of my shoe. What we're going to do is I'm going to tie a loop and have that loop just sit on top of the tongue of my shoe. So it's not on top here. Let me show you. So this camera angle might be a little funky. I apologize in advance. Basically, I'm just going to do a regular loop tie like I would tie my shoe. So that's what I'm doing right now. Not missing anything. Okay, so we did this loop. I'm going to take my tongue of my shoe and I'm just going to stick the laces behind there. And voila, we have our R. Nothing else is on the top. Now, if you wanted to, you could tie a loop on the top and just tuck it behind there. But I kind of like, now I've kind of made these slip-ons. So not only do they look pretty cool, they're also kind of slip-on shoes as well. Okay, so I've got my R's. And that was, again, I tied a knot here and I tucked it behind the tongue of my shoe. We've all got tongues on our shoes for the most part, unless they're sandals. So we should be pretty good. Now, as you guys could see, I have the Harry Potter Vans. So my Ravenclaw shoes are all good to go. They're giving me as much magic as I can get as a muggle. So that's it. But what I'm going to do is one more time, I'm going to show you guys my example, and I'm going to give you the number instructions again if you want to try from home, because I know sometimes it's hard to do it as I'm doing it. So again, I've numbered the holes on my shoes. This is the toe of my shoe, and I started up here, and I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down the left side, and then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 down the right side. And the formula for our shoes was we lace both under and we coming up the 5 and up the 10. And then I take the lace on the left-hand side, I bring it up through the 5 hole and put it down through the 1 hole. And then I hold that lace for a while. I'm not going to do anything with it. Then I take the lace on the right-hand side and I bring it up through the 10 hole and down through the 3 hole. Then that same lace is going to get a lot of love today. I bring it up through the 8 hole and down through the 3 hole. So I've got that cross piece. And then I'm going to bring that piece again up through the 8 hole and down through the 6 hole. So now that string that started on the right-hand side, it's back on the right-hand side. I've got almost my entire R done. And then I take this lace that was on the left-hand side of my shoe that was just hanging out, bring it up the 6 hole and down the 1 hole, and voila, you've got your R. And then you can fancy it up and figure it out and finish it up however you want. Like I said, I tied mine under the tongue. And that's Ravenclaw, rad Ravenclaw laces. And the good thing is it's alliteration today. They are rad, they are R's, they are awesome. That's an A. But one other thing I want to remind you guys is that right now for the month of April, Maryland's Online Digital Consortium is enabling you to check out the first Harry Potter book. Oh, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. They have it available on both ebook and audiobook. You can borrow it with no wait for the month of April from our digital consortium. So if you use Libby, that's how you get to it. If you want to restart the series, or if you're new to Harry Potter, or if you just want to see the guy who narrates the audiobook has this awesome proper English accent. He does a great job. So it's a fun thing to listen to. So right now, hey, get started in a new series. Try out book 1. Also, the rest of the books are available online through the consortium as well. The rest of the books in the series and some of the related materials too, like The Cursed Child and Fantastic Beasts. And another cool thing I found out today was on Hoopla, and Hoopla is another one of our online offerings you can get through the library. They have a lot of really cool Harry Potter related like quiz books and joke books, and the material on Hoopla is always instantly available. There's a limit on how many you can check out at once, but it's right there. So if you've been inspired, you can totally tell some people some jokes and make them laugh. And if you do tie your laces in an awesome ultimate Ravenclaw R, let me know. Show me a picture. Show me when we all get to see each other again. If you figure out a cool new pattern, let me know. I'd love to see it. So I hope this finds everybody doing well. I hope to see you again online soon, and have a great weekend. Thanks for joining me today. And I'll see you later. Bye.